Hello, beautiful people. I'm currently staying at the Self-Realization Fellowship Hidden Valley Ashram, and I've really been focusing on cultivating presence and cultivating the quality of divine calmness and being calm under all circumstances in everything I do. I actually had the idea for this video a couple days ago, but I wanted to wait until I really felt myself more so anchored in that calmness so I could speak with authority on this topic. Now, throughout the course of regular life, we often have very restless thoughts, emotions, and desires constantly running through the mind. Just little worries about what people will think of us, judgments about other people, things that we may not even notice because it's so normal. But when you take a step back from your daily routine and take the time to meditate or to introspect and observe what's going on, you're going to notice how much of that is clouding your peace of mind, and your calmness. I've, for the last several months, been meditating for about 2 hours per day. At my stay here, I've been meditating probably an average of about 4 hours a day. But even with that, with my peace of mind being deeper than probably most of the general population, it's still surprising when I come to a place like this and when my whole day is just about introspection and devotion towards God. It's amazing to see still how much of that restless mind is still in place, kind of how quickly that can come back after meditation, and how much that can cloud the natural joy and calmness that is your birthright. The ancient sage Patanjali said that yoga is the mitigation of the cross currents of ego. Now, yoga, its true meaning is union with God. It's an ancient science perfected by millennia by mystics and sages of ancient India. And it's the science of coming to know God and embody God's qualities, one of the primary and most important qualities being calmness. So, union with God, basically what Patanjali is saying is union with God is dependent upon the mitigation of your restless thoughts, emotions, and desires. And you can see how this makes a lot of sense, because when those emotions and desires and restless thoughts aren't there, what's going to be left? What's going to be your state of consciousness if you're able? And it's not easy and it takes a lot of work, trust me, but just to think about it and to get an understanding for why this is important, what's going to be underneath all of that. When you're able to calm that, it's going to be divine calmness and other divine qualities, joy and love and wisdom. That's our natural state, which God intended us to live in. But the world at this time is so restless, and it's so normalized to be so identified and attached to the ego with all its worries and all the drama that's going on around us, and to really let that affect our inward state of consciousness. So it's really important that we understand how to overcome this. So let me talk about what we can do to anchor ourselves in calmness. Introspection is a really great tool. And in fact, awareness of the problem is the first step to recovery. You first need to just observe your thoughts throughout the day, observe your emotional state, and see how that's getting in the way of your peace of mind. We think that we're justified or that it's rational to worry about circumstances in our life, maybe about our job or how much money we're making or certain objects, a new car or relationship that we want. And we think that a lot of the time our society will say it's a good thing, just think about this and go out there and get it. And a certain amount of that is true. We can visualize our worthy desires and make that into a reality. But it becomes a problem when it becomes incessant worrying and fixation upon that, where it's affecting our peace in the present moment. So just introspecting and becoming aware of that is partially going to solve the problem in its own right. Because, for example, if someone's pinching you, or let's say if you're pinching yourself right here and it's causing pain and you want that pain to stop, if you realize you're pinching yourself, you're going to just release and let go, and that pain right there is going to go away. So when you realize in the mind you're pinching yourself through all these neurotic beliefs and patterns that you're engaging in, you're kind of just going to naturally stop that. And some patterns and some things are going to be stickier than others, and it's going to take a while to work through, but just awareness is the first step, and it's going to help a lot in its own right. And you can also become aware that these emotions and attachments that you feel aren't who you truly are as your true essence as a soul. You can make the distinction between that restlessness, and then when you're able to get past that through practices such as meditation, just moments when you feel really calm and peaceful, that's who you truly are. All the other things is just a delusion. It's because the ego, all these desires and attachments that make up who we identify with for a majority of our lives, is nothing more than an illusion, because in reality we're all connected to God. We're all made in the image of God, and it's our destiny to come back into those divine qualities and divine calmness. So meditation and just sitting in silence is a really good method for doing this, because with meditation you're sitting there and emotions are going to come up, thoughts are going to come up, but you're going to just let them pass like waves on the ocean and just be that observer. And over time, those cross currents of the ego are going to still, and you're going to be able to see what your natural state is, your beautiful natural state of peace and calmness. It's not going to be that easy, though. It may take years of meditation or just spiritual living to be able to realize this, because for our entire lifetimes, potentially even for many previous incarnations, the ego and its desires and attachments have been building momentum. So it's going to be very sticky in the mind, and all the energy that's been put into that isn't just going to go away in an instant. But I think we all truly want calmness and we want to be happy. So when you're able to realize that what's really going to make you happy is the dissolution of all these desires and attachments that are conditional, that you have to meet this condition and then I'll feel happy for a little bit, but then the next thing's going to come up. Then I meet this condition and then I feel happy for a little bit. Well, what if you just felt happy and calm all the time without needing certain conditions to be met? So that's the goal of yoga and of meditation. And the real goal is also communion with God, because calmness and happiness and joy and bliss, these are aspects of God, and when we come into alignment with His will, that's when our life becomes filled with those divine qualities. Now I want to tell you a story I heard yesterday because I think it illustrates another important principle. I had a counseling session with a monk yesterday, and we talked about meditation and some other things. And this is a story he told me, which I thought was really impactful and gives a good message. So, as a part of Self-Realization Fellowship, we are disciples of the great mystic Paramahansa Yogananda. He founded the Self-Realization Fellowship in 1920. And one of his disciples, when he was still in the body, one of his disciples had been going through a lot of difficulty. He had lost his job and just had a lot of turmoil in his family and relationships. He was feeling down on his luck. So he asked Yogananda, he was just at a loss. What should I do? Where should I go next? And how do I deal with this? And Yogananda told him, your effort is your victory. And he assured him that he's been making the effort, and in that lies the victory. The results we leave up to God. We can't control the outcome of our efforts and our actions, but we can always make our best genuine effort. And that was a great reassurance to me, because I have been making the effort, and I know that I've been doing that, meditating hours a day, really putting spiritual living principles into practice in my life. And I've been seeing the fruits of my actions as well, just in my peace of mind and in circumstances in my life. But even when things go wrong, things are bound to go wrong. There's certain lessons we need to learn. God's going to teach us in many ways to not be attached to the drama that's going on outwardly. So when things aren't going well, it's important to remember what matters is that you continue to make the effort and just move forward with your best understanding and your best effort. And that's all that's expected of you. And when this applies to any aspect of life, whether it's spirituality and meditation and coming to embody spiritual qualities, or whether it's a business endeavor or work at your job or working on a relationship with a partner or with your family, when you're putting your best effort in, that's where the victory lies, because that's what's going to change and evolve your consciousness, which is the purpose of why we came here to Earth, is to learn certain lessons and to evolve in our consciousness and our understanding of what's really going on here and who we really are as divine souls. So when we can really understand that, and understand that making the effort is what counts, we can also learn to be happy regardless of the circumstances and detach from outcome and be happy regardless of the outcome. We can be happy and fulfilled that we're just making the effort. And when we're able to be calm in doing that, that's when we're going to feel God's presence and God's guidance through our intuition. And we're just going to know what to do next, what next step to take. Because all those cross currents of the ego, all those desires and attachments and thoughts aren't as active. Over time, as you practice, you're going to get more and more clarity. It's not going to be an overnight thing. It's going to be an evolving process where you continue to gain more and more clarity and peace of mind. And in that, you're going to find that you're receiving the support you need from God and your spirit guides. And you're going to feel that intuition and that reassurance that you're divinely protected and guided. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope this was a useful message for you. And I wish you the best of luck on your journey. Jai Guru.